Hi there, this is Mark Rivera at GenreOnlinenet, and today I'm presenting an off-the-cuff review of a book that I own called Star Wars: The Blueprints by J.W. Rinzler. The book is published by 47 North and it has a suggested retail price in the States of $99.99, though you may be able to purchase it cheaply at Amazon.com. It features more than 250 blueprints, 500 photographs and illustrations, as well as production designs and draftsman designs from the various sets, and with a total of 336 pages, including 10 gatefolds. This is a huge, heavy book. To give you an idea of how big it is, you could just see it like that, and you could see the spine. This is a hardcover book. Okay. And then when you look at the back, you got more blueprints. Now this is the production design blueprints, not the blueprints as if, we live in the Star Wars universe and and what the Millennium Falcon is supposed to have. This is what the sets were built and how things were designed. And it's an impressive book, and the reason why I've chosen to do an off-the-cuff book review of this and share it with you all is after watching the Comic-Con J.J. Abrams Episode 7, The Force Awakens reel that they showed and that was released on YouTube. I thought that it's a good time to show the rich heritage of Star Wars in terms of production design. So I specifically, prior to starting this review, I basically put some bookmarks so that I can get to things right away that I wanted to call attention to. This is a huge book, and there is no way I can cover everything that the book has to offer, but I can give you at least an idea. For instance, these are the original production sketches and designs by the production designers and so forth of the R2-D2 droid from the original Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. Only back then they were still calling it under the name The Star Wars as opposed to Star Wars. Here you can see a profile of how they designed it as well. Next, because this covers all 6 films at the that existed at the time of this publication, I have a early look at one of the Millennium Falcon style ships that was abandoned because Lucas, I believe, felt that it was too much like the Eagle 1 from Space 1999. But if you look at it, besides obviously being something that perhaps inspired the Rebel Blockade Runner in Episode 4 and in the films that have followed, I think you might also have seen some slight inspiration for the Republic diplomatic shuttle seen in Episode 1 of The Phantom Menace. These are some early designs on the Falcon that were used. Next, we go to another page, and we have the X-Wing fighter production design, the blueprints. You can really see the detail. I mean, this is, I don't know if you can call this engineering or not, but certainly it looks like it to me. I mean, it's or architecture or something. I mean, this is really amazing stuff that they do. And part of my reason also for showing this is there's quite a number of collectors who are talented artists, and perhaps some of you may want to apply that art to other things. And there's always a need for artists, I think, talented ones, particularly within the motion picture and television industry. And that's part of the reason why I'm showing this, because I think this is a book that if you are interested in that sort of thing, you may want to get this book, because it is a book that I believe is worthwhile in the long run. This is construction for Echo Base, the doors, the famous blast doors, and the Falcon. Okay. There's about lots of different, like even here they were testing somebody's son the idea of how they were going to do the Tauntauns for the movie, which is interesting. Now, jumping ahead again, this is the bridge of the Star Destroyer design, circa The Empire Strikes Back. You can see those windows that Vader would look out in the beginning, and you could see that it's that elevated catwalk that he goes back and forth, and the bulkheads above. As you can see here, as that was created from the original Ralph McQuarrie paintings. Another aspect that's definitely worth seeing is the development of the AT-AT. And this is an interesting composition here, giving you panoramic look. Okay. And hopefully you can also slow-mo this and get an idea of what this gatefold is showing. And just to give you an idea how much they planned things out back in the 70s when they were making The Empire Strikes Back. Next, I have designs here of what was called Stormtrooper 2 at one point. This is Boba Fett. You can see how they designed his helmet once they had gotten through the McQuarrie sketches and had finalized stuff. Here's their prototype costume. So once again, you get a lot of just a lot of background here. And I also think to myself, okay, Stormtrooper 2, and I know we have the Chrome Trooper coming up in Episode 7, and she may or may not be some kind of bounty hunter within the First Order in the upcoming films. So, taking that into consideration, I wonder whether even they get their ideas from looking back at these older stuff, because I've noticed in the Star Wars films there are lots of unused ideas that get recycled later on, which is perfectly fine, because why waste a good idea? Here's the torture robot from Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, and this is a particularly interesting gatefold that I'm going to present here. It's huge, so literally you can go up. I mean, what a magnificent sketch. The robot, this is the torture robot in Jabba's palace. Okay, going down to his feet. What marvelous detail. And this is something that I have not seen in other sketchbooks. And this is not a sketchbook. This is really a type of combination art production design book, you know. And let's see what else we have here to give you guys an idea of what this book has to offer beyond the torture droid. You know, what we have now is the sail barge. And I remember back in 1982 seeing pictures in Starlog magazine and Famous Monsters of the sail barge shoot, because back then there was no internet, and so you got all your movie news related to genre films from these types of magazines, including Fangoria, which is probably the only one that still exists to this day. And then here's the actual model that they built. Okay, see director Richard Marquand next to George Lucas. Okay, next, Richard Marquand also directed a great film prior to this called Eye of the Needle with Donald Sutherland. I highly recommend it. And here's another interesting quick sketch that was done for the production of the film. You know, these are not obviously not supposed to be in the same class of Ralph McQuarrie pre-production paintings, because these are more like raw sketches when the designs have been fulfilled. Now they're working on okay, this is how we're going to build it, how we're going to frame it, how we're going to set up the shots. This is almost like a large storyboard. Now we jump ahead to the Imperial Shuttle, one of the coolest ships in the Episode 6 Return of the Jedi. You can see how that was developed as well in this book. This is a nice production photo of Sebastian Shaw in his Anakin Darth Vader outfit and makeup with director Richard Marquand and actor Mark Hamill. And you could see how they designed the Vader mask and how they were going to work on taking it off, that sort of thing. And now we come to the prequels. And while the prequels do have shorter chapters as opposed to the original trilogy, it is wrong to say that everything in the prequels was done CGI in the background. There were real sets both on location and in the studio. This is one of my favorite sketches because this is the pod from 2001 Space Odyssey that was put in as a nod by George Lucas into the film in Watto's junkyard, just as a little nod to Stanley Kubrick's fantastic film, which prior to Star Wars it is probably one of the most influential science fiction films ever made, and Star Wars is too, albeit more sci-fi, but nevertheless they are two of the most influential films of their type, albeit different types of films. And we have over here the pod racers, and we could see the design of the pods and how they worked that out in sketches and stuff before, because as time went on with the Star Wars prequels, I think they began to use more and more CGI, but I think particularly for Episode 1 they still used a lot of practical effects, which was moving to the next page. Here we have designs on from Revenge of the Sith, the Jedi Interceptors, which are kind of somewhere between your sort of reminiscent of the TIE Interceptors to come, and at the same time a step away from the Star Destroyer looking Jedi starfighters. You can see here there's more grain stream, but nevertheless they did actually have a set for these creations. And last but not least, what I'm going to show you today is another set that was built for Episode 3, was recreating the Tantive 4 Rebel Blockade Runner. So we began with it, and now we close with it. And they did a really fantastic job in recreating things that hadn't existed at the time for over 20 years. Anyway, this has just been a very quick look at Star Wars The Blueprints by J.W. Rinzer, published by 47 North Books, and it has a suggested retail price of $99.95, though you may be able to get it cheaper at retailers like Amazon. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. I hope you're all having a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you again. Bye-bye now.